This
Started.
conference will now be recorded.
As always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So I know most people are probably not in here because they're paying attention to INO right now. And if you notice, my screens have changed just because the one that I was looking at, I was trading on is right here, and it has the print, so I can show you guys exactly what just happened. So unfortunately, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but at the same time, I still need to make my money and I still need to trade as well. But let's take a look at what's going on here, because the thing, basically what this told us is, even though, let's go back to our prints, even though it's a very long term that I'm building, there's some things that happened that showed us that this should continue on its way pretty quickly, but it still does need to make that pullback. So first thing is, let's look at this one bar that happened right here. And also, I just wanted to show you guys, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but on TradeStation, if you click right here, let's just say for this bar, and I click right there, if you go up to this little button right here, I posted this in the morning, but I know, obviously there's, things are going on, not everyone was able to pay attention. If you click that little bar and then you click this button, instead of having to sit here and hold it, what happens is that it gives you just this nice little window that actually stays up and shows you exactly what's going on here. So it's very useful, especially if if your chart's a little bit more spread out, a little bit more congested. And it just shows you exactly what's going on. So you don't have to actually hold your mouse down and be able to, and to be able to look at it. So this just shows us right there. But looking at the prints coming in, so we have these 29.50 in this one bar itself, and you do not see this normally. 29.50 and then 30 are both taken out within a 1 minute bar, which, like I said, it just does not happen very often whatsoever. So we can see something here. So 29.50, we know that we need to pull back from. Okay, because of the aspirants and our rules that came into it. And then our 30, this shows a huge building level coming up. But we want to look at what is the reaction. The immediate reaction afterwards is more 30 ask, but more importantly right here. This 30.02 that came in almost immediately afterwards, these are short-term prints compared to the longer-term prints that we had at that 29.50, and which the print personality showed us 29.50 were going to be longer term, and then 30 showed us 100% that's going to be a building position. But this reaction right here just told us so much. It tells us that somebody's in there to make money right away. Okay, you do not get in at 30.02 with this many shares to basically to be able to wait for it, because you would have done that at 30. So it's showing us the intent of how much they really wanted to get into this stock. Then we come up to 30.18. You can see this nice position, but you kind of laugh at it now based off the amount of volume that we saw coming in at that 30 level, and then just continuously seeing this buying that's coming in there. So what that's telling us is that this is a shorter term type move. So yes, do we need to pull below 29.50? We absolutely do, but this is showing us that we have really great variables for us to get another trigger to be able to break past and really start to make money on that 30 level quicker than we would have expected based off of what we have, but with that many aspirants that are coming at that 30. So do I expect a big bar down? I do, but at the same time, a bar towards the upsides. Remember, we need to understand every single possibility that a stock can happen. Okay, so I do expect that pullback to happen and a nice big bar for that building level, but I'm also expecting this afternoon for us to really see them start to make that money at that 30 level. So obviously, number one thing that's going to be on our list. Next thing is EKSO. So another one where the first time it came up, we had some aspirants that came at 850, but if you look back, and I hope it lets me go, which it's probably not going to, but if you look back at 850, there wasn't so much that came in that second time up above, so it really looks like they're kind of getting out of a few shares, unless I see some type of real new buying that comes into this thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the buying that would happen during this building phase is telling us that we do have the ability to hit, I don't want to say 10, because 10, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative, so I'm going to go to that 9 level, but it really does have the buying to be able to get to that 10. But the second time coming up to 850, it was a little bit, it really stood out the fact that they didn't really buy that much at 850 again, and that would have just been such a perfect level to be able to do it. So I'm going to be keeping this on our afternoon list, but my percentages on the fact of it really being able to break out definitely got a little bit lower. I'm still going to be looking for that move, don't get me wrong, but it went from basically not hitting at that 850 again the second time that it came up. It went from basically being about an 80% trade down to about a 70%. So going to be looking for a trigger back towards that upside, but I'm going to understand that that trigger might be false. All right, we're really going to need to see that volume come back up. We're going to have at least about 625,000 shares in order for this thing to really even get close to that double top, and then obviously to break out and continue on its way. We're going to need to see that consistent volume. We're going to need to see more. Okay, these are little intricacies that stand out that we really need to pay attention to as a tape reader, because at 850, it just doesn't make sense. Now, you could say that, it was slower time, okay, but look at what the volume was. Okay, so when we look at the actual volume itself, there was plenty of buying that could have been done there, and the fact that it wasn't, it like I said, it takes our percentages down a little bit more. Now, PHFC, another one. Oops. PHCF. That is a dyslexia. So coming up, we can see that it did not hit 6. This thing does not fail. When a stock pushes up to a level, it does not hit. We end up triggering down. It really shows us, we end up getting that nice building move back towards the downside. It doesn't mean that they weren't buying up here, because they definitely were underneath that 6 level, but it tells us that they're still ready to build, and they don't want to go bed. They don't want it to go up to that 6 level, because then a lot of shares are going to be exchanged, and that means there's less shares to take from this downside. So we had a beautiful move that started coming back in, but you could see they just started building again. The volume had a very hard time sustaining itself, and we see this pattern constantly over and over again, that once it pushes like that, and then it especially at that time period, it's a hard thing for it to be able to sustain. So another one where I'm going to be looking for us to be able to get at least up towards this 6 level, but we're going to need a very strong trigger, and the biggest thing is we're going to need this volume to pick up. You can see this volume is not good for anything, because it's not showing us really building. What it's showing us is that it just kind of died out and stopped trading. So when we see something like that, a lot of times it's just to push it up on this higher volume so that they can sell off the rest of their shares that they have, and without having those aspirants at that 6 level, it really kind of kills it a little bit. So it's going to be on our side list, but at the same time, it's still something that I do want to watch, because there is a bit of buying that still was towards that upside. So overall, not a ton of stuff that's going on out there yet, and we can see that INO, if you still have shares, is coming back below that point. But this is the number one thing I'm going to be looking at, because it definitely has the ability, especially with those prints that came in at that 30. Did they make their money? Not really, not with the amount of buying that we saw coming into there. But we need that strong pullback from the 30, following the rules absolutely perfectly. This is what I'm going to be looking for our trigger back towards that upside. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else out there? All right, so I think that's about it. I want to give a special shout out to Doug and Nitesh. They both hit some huge milestones today, so that is just absolutely phenomenal. It makes me, I don't want to, say like a father, but I had a very proud day. These guys have put in work and work and work and work and work. They've watched every class. They're in every single Traders, well, not Nitesh in Traders Exchange, because he doesn't know what time it is, but they watch their recordings. They put in their work. And you guys can see it showing. They know exactly what's going on. So I want everybody to realize that trading is a grind in the beginning. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff that looks like it makes perfect sense, but then it doesn't. And then there's just a billion things that happen day in and day out. But it gets to a point, it's the invisible staircase. So it's almost like, believing that you're going to take a step down, or in this case, a step up, and you have to believe the step is there. And these guys are just proof of exactly what the work does. Okay, this system, you guys see it day in and day out. It does not change. So continue to put in that work, make that decision that this is what I'm going to succeed at. And it happens. They are living proof of it. Don't believe me, because guess what? I own the company. So I can say whatever I want and to tell you guys. So what I say doesn't mean as much as the people that show you that they follow the program and it works. All right. So definitely take that as motivation. I know I am, and you're not, and I'm not Indian. I am not Indian whatsoever. But at the same time, guys, ask them what they did. Okay, you see, they participate every single day whenever they can. Even though, guess what? They both have jobs. They both do the same. It's incredible the progress that I've seen, but it doesn't happen in a day. Anyone that tells you that you're going to be a great trader in 2 months, it's not going to happen. All right. Now, a great trader, guess what? $200 a day means about $50,000 a year. So it's past that level. So put in the work, continue to put your head down and continue day after day. And remember, that stare is going to be there next. All right, guys, I will talk to everybody in the chat, and happy trading.